Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another new video. So it's finally time. We're going to start doing our first bits of aero on the M3, and today we're starting off with a fun one. So like I mentioned before, I don't quite have everything for the kit yet. I only have a few pieces, so we're still waiting on everything, and we won't have the full aero installed just quite yet. That's still probably going to be another few weeks. We're still waiting on some of the aeros, so we're still waiting on the chassis splitter. We're still waiting on the big wing, and we're still waiting on the canards, but we do have the fender vents. So we have some carbon fiber fender vents that we're going to be installing on the M3, and it's going to be a little bit of a process, but I'm going to walk you guys through it today, show you the full install, show you how I'm going to do it properly, the right way, and I'm going to make it functional. So we're going to have, we're going to cut the lower fender liner as well and add in some mesh to keep from any debris from coming out, but we're going to get to that and we should be good to go. So let's get to the fender vents. I'm going to show them to you guys. I'm going to show you, kind of give you a brief description on how they're going to be installed today, exactly the process that I'm going to do, and then we'll get to some fun install. So like I mentioned, these are the carbon fiber fender vents that we're going to be installing on the M3. Now these are from Mashimarho, so these are a pretty common mod that a lot of people have done on the F chassis, whether it be F80 or F82. And these are obviously brand new. These are a nice new little set, but what we're gonna have to do is cut out this shape on the fender so that we can lay this in, and it's gonna be a little bit complicated. There's gonna be a little bit of work, and obviously anytime you are cutting any of your exterior panels, you definitely want to be very, very cautious in what you do. But this carbon fiber looks really, really good. I'm super happy with the quality. It is a pretty thin piece, but it's obviously not structural or anything, and it serves no real like strength purpose. So no real rush in trying to get anything done there, or it doesn't need to be too big, doesn't need to be too strong. So we're just we're gonna add some extra functionality and have some extra venting here on the fenders. Now they are also supplied with these templates, so this tells you exactly how we need to cut out on the fender. So what I'm gonna do is wipe down the fender here, get everything cleaned up, and then I can get these laid out exactly where they're supposed to be. You basically just line them up with the edges of the fenders here. You can tell based off the template, it has you like mark out the top, the bottom, and then along this curve, and then it shows you exactly where you need to cut on the inside. So we're just gonna be extra cautious, cut on the inside of this template, make sure that we're make sure that the vent is exactly where we want it to be. Then we'll get this all cut up. We can clean up the inside, and then we can get to the fender liner. So this one's going to be pretty labor intensive, and we're going to have a fun time today. My buddy's coming over. He's going to help me get some of this done. So it's going to be a fun time. We're going to get all of this installed, and by the end of it, we should have a really, really clean set of fender vents on the M3 that are both functional and look really, really good. So I'm super excited to get this one started. Let's get into it. Okay, so we got the template on. Here we go. Everything's squared away. It's a little bit complicated to get on just because the vinyl doesn't like to sit perfectly. But we got it all set up, and this is the layout. And now it's time to cut. Guys, just want to give you a quick update. We've been doing a lot of cutting, and it is in, as you guys can see, but I still need a little bit of trimming, because you guys can see that it's still not quite fully flush in here. So I think I have like the bottom section here is all flush, but the top on this side actually fits in pretty nicely, but then the back here, so just kind of like sandwich this in here a little bit too. So as I pull it out, you guys can see I have the hole. And I obviously left myself some space in certain areas. I've just been going through and kind of like trimming out the bottom areas, and just anywhere where I need a little bit extra room, I just trim a little bit closer to the template here. So we definitely have like tons of extra room, and I just really don't want to, obviously see any of the white underneath or have like a hole or any of that. But everything is looking way better underneath here. So we're getting there, we're getting really close. So I'm just gonna get the last few areas on this side. We had to make a quick trip to the hardware store to go get a few extra blades. Everything is an absolute mess. There's like metal shavings everywhere. So I'm definitely gonna have to like try and vacuum all this up. And then obviously before I stick these things on, I'll clean up the area. I'll probably like run the pressure washer over everything really quickly, but it's coming along well. Everything's, we're getting there, we're getting close. So once we get this, we're just gonna kind of clean up the edges some. Once I get this like fully situated in, I'll clean up the edges, and then I'm probably gonna like give them a light scuff. I have some panel bond that I'm gonna use. And just in case, I also have some silicone that I'm gonna run a bead along the edge. And that way I can make sure everything seals up nicely and we're all set. Then after we get this, we're gonna line the fender liners back up onto the car. We took them off so that obviously we didn't run the risk of cutting into them where we didn't want to. But once we get them all situated and we get the vent in, I'll put the fender liners back on. Then I can trace a mark around the fender liner exactly where I need to cut, so that I can add some mesh from underneath and we will be all set to go. So I'm gonna keep getting to cutting some little areas on this. Obviously we still have the passenger side to do, but I'm gonna get to keep cutting on this, make sure this thing fits absolutely perfect. I know it looks like a mess right now, but let's keep going. So like I mentioned, we got this pretty well cleaned up now. So everything, it fits pretty well. There's a little bit of binding going on here on this side, but I think I'll be able to press it in. And then when I use the panel bond to get it all situated, we should be good to go. So now we're gonna do the exact same. I got this side cleaned up. Time to get the decal on, the stencil, and we can start cutting. Okay, so I'm taking a break. I've got most of this cut and I'm just starting to get through on a few of these edges. But in the meantime, we got the fender liner back in on this side. So now you guys can see we're trying to mark out exactly where we're gonna cut this to add our mesh. So when we put this in, there's this is the bolt that actually holds up the fender liner on this side, and we wanna retain that. So what we're gonna do is kind of trim, see where I've like marked with my finger in the dirt, but we're gonna trim along this side, all the way around the back, come down, and then we're gonna trim around this little mounting bracket, and we'll go back into here, and then we'll cut across. This right here is the air duct that comes to this vent right here. So we're just gonna trim across here, and then obviously we'll make a line over on this side, and then this will all become mesh. I've got the mesh sitting right here. So we're gonna mesh this all in, and that way we have it holding up with this bolt here, and then we'll probably just have this zip tied up in here, and that way it's a functional vent. When you put this in, just loosely, you can kind of see that plastic back there. So if we have this functional and we have it with the mesh, it's gonna be much better. So we'll get that off and we'll start cutting there, and I'm gonna continue cutting on this fender here, and we'll get this one out. I was able to use the other side for reference, so my cut line is much closer to the template this time, just because I have a better reference of where I'm going. But we'll get this one out here pretty soon, and then we'll be ready to do the same on the other side. For an update, we got the vent, it's not actually in yet, it's just kind of sitting in there. So we have this side all trimmed up, the other side is also trimmed. So something I want to note, when you get this thing in, it sits really flush up at the front, this whole bottom, really good. Get the top, it kind of pushes in just a little bit, and then this back side is where we start to get a little bit of an issue. So you can kind of see the bottom side lifts up a little bit, and it just kind of has a little bit of tension, but it holds down pretty easily. And then we get to this top area right here, and this is where there's actually a big gap, and you can kind of see the hole. And now you can push it, but it does kind of take a little bit of strength here. So we're gonna be using like a panel bond to keep this vent in. And if we end up not getting it to be able to stick perfectly flush here on this side, we're just gonna run some silicone over the back here, kind of fill the gap, and we'll just fill all the gaps around the outside. And that should make it pretty well sealed. We come to the other side, we have the fender liner already cut, so I know like you can't see it anymore, but the fender liner is in. Well, the front side's out, but the back side is in, so you can see where it's cut. Right here, we're still utilizing this clip right here, and we're getting the mesh cut and all situated. It's actually looking really good on this side, just making some adjustments. We ended up not having enough mesh on this side, so I'm gonna have to, well, I actually ordered already some new mesh. It should be here in a few days. So we're just gonna make a template on the mesh, exactly match it to the passenger side, and then I can, when it gets here, I can take out the fender liner, or I'll leave the fender liner out if I don't plan on driving it. So I'll get the fender liner, leave it out, make the mesh, cut it, install it. It's all gonna look really, really good. So we got the first side on, we got the panel bond in here. So we did basically panel bond in every single one of the corners, as well as this top edge, and then silicone all the way around the rest. You can see we have it all the way sealed up, pressed on here. We have all these zip ties and clamps holding it all the way down. The gaps are really, really good. Everything looks pretty solid. Yeah, it looks really good. So we're gonna let that sit basically overnight. It'll sit for probably close to 24 hours. We have the other side that we're gonna go ahead and prep, and you'll see us do the exact same thing. So we just have a clamp holding it in here, but I'll video this side, but we just wanted to make sure we got it right on that side. So we're just gonna let this seal up for, like I said, 24 hours. Then I can get I have the vents already, and then more of the mesh is coming tomorrow. So I'll cut that, I have it traced out exactly what I need. We tested it on that side and it looks really, really good. Then we can get this all finished up. Well guys, final update for the night. We have the second fender vent in. It is all installed. As you can see, we have this one all zip tied up as well. We have the clamp on the rear holding everything in. Everything looks really, really good. Like I mentioned, all of the edges are really, really flush. I know it's kind of hard to tell. Obviously, it's so small. But we have all of these edges hold in really, really nicely. We had to use all of these zip ties just because it doesn't lay quite perfectly flat. So we have the panel bond in there, we have the silicone in there, and everything's held up really strong. Like I mentioned, we also have this side still on, so we're gonna let these dry overnight. I'll come back tomorrow afternoon and I'll see, obviously I'll cut off all the zip ties nice and slowly, make sure everything looks good. We got all the edges cleaned up, and then we still have the fender liners, so I'm gonna show you on the other side. So we have the fender liners here, and we have them cut, as you can see. And then we also have, we drilled a few little holes that, so that if I want to, I can run the zip ties in them. This side, this is the back fender liner, so the one that faces towards the back of the car. This one is cut much, much less right here. But we have those all set up and used. Then we also have, we got a template drawn out right here of the, this is what the mesh shape needs to look like. So like I mentioned, I didn't quite have enough mesh, so more mesh is coming. I also ordered, I forgot that the little clips that hold on, they hold on these little carbon fiber canard thingies, well not canards, but the little splash guards. I forgot that they use like a one-time single use pop clip, so we got those on. Now I will say from the underside of the car, I actually went ahead and just laid a quick bead of sealant. So you can still see all the underside, like all the edges of this. I just went ahead and went underneath there, and I grabbed the sealant and just laid a bead all the way around the edge, everywhere that I could reach, so that, we'll be properly sealed. One, not only is that gonna seal this from any water like really getting into the fender liner, which isn't a huge deal. It gets wet anyways underneath there, so that's really not what I'm trying to do. But it does seal up the paint and the aluminum underneath here, so The metal is all sealed. That's like the main purpose of the sealant underneath. I did that on both sides. So both sides have that sealant all the way ran along the edges on the insides. Everything looks really, really good. There's not really much else to do for now. We're gonna wait, let these sit overnight, let them cure, make sure everything is nice and tight. They have a 24-hour use cure time. So we're gonna wait until then. In the meantime, when everything comes tomorrow, the mesh should be coming, and then I can get it all trimmed out, like I said, using my template. And then I'll be able to put the fender liners back in once I get this all taken off, and this project will be complete. So we will have functional fender vents. I hate not having functional vents. I think it's, honestly, I just think it's kind of a little dumb, a little useless. I know they look really cool, but I would rather them be functional. And the rear ones are functional, so I would like these to be functional as well. I'm telling you guys, this is actually coming out really, really clean. I was kind of worried during the cutting process. It made a mess everywhere, and the cuts are just, they're not easy to get. And it's really, really hard to get some of these gaps. Like if you look here, these gaps are so small that we have between the edge of the piece and how much overhang we have. They're just super, super tiny little overlaps. So you do not have a lot of spare room. If you guys are doing this by yourself, I really would recommend you get somebody that has, one, either done this before or has body shop experience. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. I had my friend Tyler, he came over and helped. He did this on his M4 before. I definitely could not have done it without him. This was super, super intense. It's just not something I'm used to. And you really only have one chance to cut on your fenders. I mean, metal fenders. So you either, measure as many times as you can, make sure it all looks good, and pray that you only have to cut once. So everything looks good. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow when we get the new mesh in and we can get these things unraveled. Well guys, fast forward 24 hours, it's now the next day, and it's time to get these snipped off. So they are well sealed on here, everything looks pretty strong. These are basically one with the fender now. There is no movement, no play in either side of these, so we're gonna get all these zip ties cut, and then that will basically be it. We're gonna hope that none of these edges move. Like I said, they are so stout and strong on there that I don't think we're gonna have any issues. And then we're gonna be able to complete and put back in the fender liners as well as the mesh, get everything dialed in, and we'll be all set with this install. I'm gonna hope this comes across really, really well on video, but these look absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you guys take a look at these gaps, this one has ever so slightly a little bit of a gap, and then it's perfectly sealed all the way along the top, all the way along these edges, all the way around the backside. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. When I tell you these things are like solid on the car, I mean, like I can shake it and the whole car starts kind of like wobbling a little bit. So I have no doubt that these are not going anywhere. These things look absolutely amazing. Again, look at the fitment that we ended up getting all the way across the edges. Looks so, so good. Everything's nice, tight, sealed up. Everything is super, super good. From the backside, I checked all of the silicone is like permanently on there. Everything's really well situated and very firm. I came out here and checked it last night, like maybe 2 to 3 hours after I had gotten these things put on. And honestly, I think after that time, they were already super, super solid. I think they were on the car and not going anywhere, but now they're quite literally flawless, and the edges just look like literally perfect all the way around. We follow this body line here really nicely, and I'm super happy with the way these came out. They look so aggressive on the car, and as always, and the biggest benefit is that they're going to be functional aero and reduce some of the lift at the front end of the car, which is always liked. But the carbon goes so well. When you see the carbon in person here next to the carbon on this vent, it looks so, so good. And just seeing everything here with everything that's gonna come for the front, I'm so excited. But let's get to the fender liners. I have my template marked out that I mentioned for you guys yesterday. I already have the one side for the passenger side cut. So let's get the driver side cut as well, and we can get everything thrown in. with another quick little update. So I don't know if you guys are able to see on camera here, but we have the mesh. Maybe if the camera, there we go. If the light's on the bottom side, you guys can see. We have mesh around on the back side. The fender liners are in. You guys just watched me put those in. So we have it done on both sides. You can see here, the mesh is also in. It looks absolutely fantastic back there. So I have it trimmed up nicely. I also have it sandwiched in between. I have it sandwiched in between the fender liners as well as the body. So if we kind of take a look underneath here, you can see obviously there's the vent right there, and here we have our mesh. This is how our fender liners are cut out, and our mesh goes all the way back behind everywhere we need it to, and it's pretty clean. So it looks really good underneath here. We have it all covered up, and that way the vent is fully functional, but we have this mesh to protect from any rocks from shooting out. We don't really want any rocks like flying out of the fender liners. So everything is protected. The fender liners are all back in place. Everything is cut super well, and it looks really, really good. You can still see the vent here from the backside, and everything looks super solid. So as we're installing everything back in here and we have all the fender liners going back in, I just wanted to remind you guys, I have these little, these are like the little deflectors here from Auto Technic, and they slide in right here behind the fender liner here on the side. So with a little bit of light, you guys can see they just use these little clips right here. And I just wanted to remind you guys, these are a single time use pop clip. So you do have to order new ones of these every time you want to take these out. So I did end up forgetting that yesterday when I took them out. Luckily I was able to get some. They're on Amazon, so if you guys need them, hit me up. I'll send you guys the link. They're super easy to get, and they came in like literally I had them the same day. I had them back last night when I got these on. So I can I'm gonna put these back on, but I think I'm actually gonna run over this with a polisher. Now's the perfect time. I'm just gonna kind of clean them up really well, see what I can get back out of them, because they're definitely getting thrashed, but they're serving their purpose. They're protecting my side skirt and all the way along the sides of my doors. So I definitely enjoy having these, but let's see if we can't get these just a quick little polish, clean them up a little bit, and then we'll get them thrown back in. Be a little bit difficult to tell, but that actually did clean these up quite a bit, so they actually look way better. You can still kind of see that line right there. This is the part that gets hidden, and then obviously this is the part that shows and gets beat and gets the sun used, and then this is the beat up side, and it's like absolutely trashed with rock chips. So who knows, maybe one day in the future I'll take these down, take these back off. I can just run a bit of sandpaper over them, shoot them with some 2K clear, and they should be perfect again, or maybe even trace them by my own set of, like just by my own carbon, cut it out. But these will work for now, so let's get these thrown back on. And just like that, we are complete and the install is finished. So we have the vents all in, everything is squared away, the fender liners are in, we have the mesh guards in. Obviously we put back our little fender liner those little protectors in the back. But I think these look so good on the car. I think the install came out really, really clean. I'm super happy with the way everything came out. I know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this was definitely one of the more daunting installs I've ever done. And I've done every single thing on this car, including doing all the SPL arms, installing a roll cage, drilling holes in the interior, doing the seats, doing the diff lift kit, exhaust, you name it. I've done pretty much everything to this car. And yet this was by far the scariest piece I've ever done. Cutting into these metal fenders, no bueno, that is not a fun topic. And I was definitely pretty nervous. The templates are, they're super helpful, and you basically couldn't do any of this without them. But I feel like there's so much room for error when putting on the templates. And I'm not talking like the difference between left and right. I'm mostly talking about the shape of the vent and how it needs to be according to the fender. There's so much play. And then you get to the issue of how are you gonna seal it down, and how do you get it to hold pressure, and how do you get it to seal really nicely. But I think we came up with a really good solution, and I think they came out really well. When you look at all of the details, like all the way around the edges out here, it just looks super, super clean. And I'm super happy with the way it came out. It's got a nice, tight, sealed finish to it, and I'm super happy with the way it looks. I think it really adds like an aggressive look to the car. But overall, our goal wasn't aggressiveness or looks or any of that. It's pure performance. So these are very functional. The main benefit that you're getting from these is due to some high pressure air that builds up in the front wheel wells. So that comes from a few things. Now, one of those is going to be underneath from the splitter that I'll be getting. They'll have some tunnels, and those tunnels basically channel air up into the front, and they go into the wheel wells, as well as you have the brake ducts, which end up channeling more air. And when you get a high pressure air inside the wheel well, you end up getting this lift caused on the entire front end. So having a vent that faces upwards like this allows the air to release itself, and you kind of minimize that lift. Now, as you guys know, the vents here, the OEM vents, are also functional, and those are definitely useful, but I'm super happy with the way these came out, and I like that I have made them functional as well. I've seen these on a lot of people's cars, and they just end up leaving the vents underneath. They leave the fender liners, and they don't make them functional like this. So I'm glad that we went the extra step and made it just that little bit better. Now, if you do decide to do this yourself, I do want to give you some pointers. When we ended up putting the silicone on and the panel bond that we used down there, when you end up getting these pressed on and into place, you have a little bit of the silicone and panel bond that ends up seeping out of the sides, and that's super common. You're gonna get that anytime. That just means that you're gonna have, you have enough sealant to make solid contact all the way around, which is definitely what you want. But you don't wanna have too much, and you definitely don't wanna have excess where it's kind of like poking out anywhere. And so I have these little detailing swabs, and you guys kind of watched me use some of them, some of the bigger ones, to clean the grill the other week. But I used these detail swabs, and I basically took one and I went all the way around the edge just like this, and was able to pick up any of that excess. And I think I used like maybe 20 or 30 of these between both sides just to make sure that I got everything out. And the details ended up coming out so good. I mean, there are tiny little spots where you can see just a little bit of excess, and most of that's actually behind it, and there's just like the slightest bit of gap. But I'm gonna be honest, it's so clean that you really won't be able to tell. This definitely helped a ton, so I spent a bunch of time as it was curing, just kind of going through and making all of those edges look really, really good. Super happy with the way this came out, and if you guys end up doing it, I highly recommend getting some of these. These are just like microfiber detailing swabs. Super useful, and they helped a ton in making this install come out good. Well, I'm definitely glad that's over. That was one of the more daunting installs I've ever done. We have a bunch more coming for the car, and I have a super exciting mod to throw on tomorrow, so we'll be filming that. And this time we're going back to the interior of the car. We have something new, something a little bit special, something that is fresh out to the market, and I'm super excited to get it thrown on the car. I'll show you guys how to install it. It's a little bit complicated, but we're gonna get it thrown on. I'm gonna show you guys all the features, and I think you guys will really like it. This is the first part to our aero, and it is finally complete. This is step one. We have a whole bunch more coming. Now, it is going to take a little bit longer. Unfortunately, just as the Aero is starting to ship and on its way to me, I am headed out to the tail of the dragon with the M3, so I'm going to be out of town for a few weeks. So it might be a few more weeks until we get everything installed. But like I said, these fender vents are step one. We still have the canards, the front splitter, and the rear wing to go on, and that will complete the GT4 Aero on the M3. But these things came out super well. I think one of the best angles on this car is when you come step from the side and you have this zoomed in look. I think it fits over that wheel well so nicely. I love the way that it contours to the fender liner, and I think it just adds that extra aggressiveness to the fender, and it looks so good. The carbon fiber looks really high quality on it. Now I am going to go ahead and add some ceramic coating to these, but as you guys can probably tell, there's still shavings of the metal all over the car. It's like all dusty up here and up here. And you definitely don't want to be wiping all over the car when it's got metal shavings on it. All you're going to do is scratch it. So tomorrow I'm also going to give the car a wash, and then once it's all cleaned up, then I'll throw a layer of coating on there. As always, you want to throw some protection onto carbon fiber. They're very prone to yellowing and prone to cracking and fading, and that's just part of the carbon fiber process. Usually the UV layer or the clear coat layer that is put on them is not the highest of quality, and that's kind of what causes some of those issues. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching a little bit longer of a video, a little bit more detailed, and a lot of working on the car, even though it was just for a small step. The entire process took almost a day and a half worth of work, especially if you consider all the time that I needed to let these things cure. But I'm super happy with the way it came out, and I'm super excited for all the parts that are to come on the M3. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. As always, if you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.